Hello, everybody. My guest today is Martin Verwaest. He's the founder and CEO of a company called Limecraft, dedicated to giving media professionals the best solution possible to manage their digital workflows. Before this, as a program manager for the R&D department of VRT, which is the Belgian public service broadcaster, he introduced several innovative technologies in the business, including AI for computer-assisted manufacturing and automatic indexing of audio, video, visual media. Martin, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What is Limecraft and how do you guys make money? What's your revenue model?
Limecraft is an online cloud-based platform for producers of audiovisual material, television, film, the high-end stuff. It's an online platform because it's a world of more and more freelancers and co-producers, and traditional software can't cope with such flexibility. So admitted, when we incorporated Limecraft in 2010, it was still a bit early. Our customers were a bit afraid to delegate the management of their assets to a third party, but by now we're really overwhelmed by some of the largest brands out there that are looking for an online solution to manage their digital workflow. And we basically software as a service, so we charge per user and per hour of video, which makes it for them very easy to scale up additional services and wind down some of their use if necessary.
Do you have a bunch of churn?
We've lost one customer to date.
Well, what about downgrades? You just said it makes it easy for them to upgrade or downgrade. So even if you didn't lose a customer, they could still downgrade.
Yeah, that's true. An independent producer might, at a given moment, might be running 6-7 shows in parallel in production and post-production, so the editing, and then they go into selling and attending film festivals, and so it's a cyclic movement, and it is absolutely. We see some customers going up to very large volumes, and then 6 months later throttling down the volume use, but that's not the real issue. It's a scalable system. We don't care as long as they come back afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the key, right? As long as they come back afterwards. So like that's my question to you is, any SaaS company that's going to drive to really large scale has really intelligent pricing axes, and yours is around number of hours and number of seats, which are both very strong things to build around. What I'm trying to get a sense of is, if you look at your cohort of customers that signed up, say 12 months ago, you maybe saw, those people, expand that revenue stream expanded by 40%, but then you also had about 10% churn. So net, it was 130% growth. I mean, do you break out those metrics?
Yeah, it's not an exact science. We try to get. We do. No, we do.
Okay.
If we have unexpected throttling down, investigate what's happening. To see whether they're not satisfied with the service, whether they had an accident with their content. It's key for us to understand what happened. As long as they just wind their production and eventually come back, we don't consider it as churn, and we will help them the next time.
Well, but Martin, how do you know? So if I churn today, how do you know if I'm going to come back in a year? Like, how do you know whether to count that or not? You don't know if I'm going to come back or not. How do you manage that?
We actively monitor monitor the user's activity. So it's a bit of a Big Brother type of monitoring activity. But when a producer is paying for 100 seats and not using them properly, they're a churn candidate. Then we just give them a call interactively and ask them what's going on and how we can give them a better service.
Well, by the way, maybe this isn't a big problem. I mean, what has your revenue churn been over the past year? Is it 5%, 10%, or higher?
The revenue churn is literally noise on the signal.
What's the percentage though?
Hard to measure, Nathan. We're tripling our revenue every 12 months now, and it's very hard to measure negative churn.
Yeah. Okay. So you have net negative churn.
No, we are tripling the number of users and our revenue to date.
Yeah, Martin, net negative churn means that. It means your expansion revenue is more than outpacing your churn. So it means you're growing.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So I'm trying to get a sense here of if this is something it's not something you measure because it's too difficult. It's something you really care about, but just don't, for privacy reasons, don't want to share the numbers, or it's just something you're not tracking and you don't know. It's
something we're not tracking because the impact of is just not worth measuring.
I see. Okay, very good. Okay, let's go back. I want to put this on a timeline real quick. When did you launch the company? What year?
We incorporated in 2010.
And what were you doing? I mean, were you in film and you quit and said, "I'm sick of editing with things all over the place in hard drives. I'm making a cloud solution"?
That's an excellent question. I was at the other side of the table, Nathan. I was lead engineer of the research and development department at Verwaest. So I was personally responsible for the digitization of their newsroom, procuring a piece of software that we spent millions in CapEx and 18 months in implementation. And I said to my fellow colleagues whom co-founded the company, "Hey guys,
we're building
they give us just a fraction of that cost, we build it from scratch." And that's because the world of media production has been completely disrupted and has fundamentally changed. And our customers that sometimes still try to tackle it with software that has been designed 20 years ago to manage a tape archive, that's not suitable for a file-based workflow.
Yeah, no, Martin, by the way, you don't have to sell me on the product. I get it. I totally understand why there's a need for this. Let me ask a few other questions here. So you mentioned different size clients. Give me a general sense here. I mean, are we talking, actually, you mentioned at your past company, they put $1 million into this thing, doing it, themselves. Customers paying you today, on average, what are they paying per year? Are we talking like $1,000 or $1 million or $100,000? What size usually?
Between 10 and 20,000 monthly.
Okay, fair enough. That's great. And how big are those teams typically? Does that get them 20 seats or 100 seats or what?
Depends on the type of customer. When we're dealing with an independent producer.
No, but let's do the one that you just gave me though. So if I'm paying you $10,000 a month, what am I getting for that?
That's 500 users per month as a starting point. Okay. And we're now scaling into bigger companies.
And how many hours of film?
Going from 2-3 hours per day for regular production to 200 hours per day for a large post-production facility.
Sorry. If for someone paying you $10,000 a month, about how many hours will they be getting or using?
That's the customer who's uploading 175 hours of content per day.
Holy mackerel. Okay.
Per day.
That's a lot. All right. Very good. So 2010, walk me through kind of how you've capitalized this. So have you bootstrapped the company or raised?
We bootstrapped the company apart from some angel funding in a very early stage.
Okay. So how much raised to date, including the angel funding?
We have in total 1 million euro, so $1.1 million on the balance.
Yep.
In Europe, it's a challenge to get venture capital for anything which is dealing with the media business.
Yep.
Media is considered
toxic.
Yeah, it's hard, difficult to make money in it, though I think it's explosive. Media production is not just making film and television anymore. Companies like Netflix and Amazon spend good money in original production. It's becoming another ballgame, and more corporate.
Is Netflix a customer?
No, not yet.
Come on, Martin.
I'd love to have them as a customer. Amazon Studios is a customer.
That's okay. That's good. Very good. How many customers have you scaled to today total?
In total, I think we're 30, 35 worth mentioning.
35, you said?
Bigger ones. There is, we have a whole cohort of really small producers, including video and podcast producers. They're there. The system is scalable to smaller numbers as well, but we can't count them as individual customers like the bigger ones.
Okay, so you have about 35 meaningful customers. You said earlier, kind of from a price point perspective, 10 to 20 grand a month. If we stay conservative there at 10 grand a month, 10 grand times 35, it'd mean you're north of $350,000 per month at this point in terms of revenue. Is that accurate?
No. Yeah, half of it.
Okay, and why is that? It's a lower price point or what?
No, because some of them are ramping up in the first 6 months. They will be gearing up one production team after the other one. It's a volume-based pricing, so in the first couple of months, overall price point will be lower.
Okay, got it. So you're doing $175,000 a month today. You're 3xing year over year. So a year ago, you were doing what, about $60,000 a month, something like that?
That was a while ago, yeah.
Well, you said you're growing 3x year over year, correct? You're tripling revenue each year?
This is our current pace, yeah.
Okay, so if you're at 175 today, 175,000, that would mean you're at about 1/3 of that a year ago. Is that accurate?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay, why sort of and not yes?
The first we've meaningful statistics since 12 or 18 months. We spend a lot of time in developing. That's a disadvantage of bootstrapping your platform. We came from smaller independent producers into broadcast style of customers with a couple of hundreds of seats. And we're now moving into really large players with a couple of thousand seats. That's only been happening the last 12 months.
Okay.
So it's hard for me.
Did you have no revenue? So if you go back a year ago, did you have no revenue per month at that point? Were you pre-revenue a year ago?
A couple of 10,000 per month, but not meaningful. And part of it was custom development.
Yep.
It's only now that we're correctly measuring monthly recurring based on the platform, and that we're actually tracking the objective of doubling every 4 or 5 months.
Martin, we're short on time, so I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but I want to get a bunch more in. So just to be clear, the 175,000 you're doing per month today, that's all SaaS revenue, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then talk to me about team size. How many folks are you today? 14. And where's everyone based?
Ghent, all in Belgium.
Belgium, very good. And obviously you raised 1.1 million a long time ago. Are you cash flow positive today, or are you still burning?
No, we're cash flow positive since 6 months.
Congratulations. Any plans to raise capital right now?
No, not at all.
you like the bootstrap life. You like no more investors.
We took becoming cash flow positive as an important challenge. This is eventually where a company wants to. That's the objective a company wants to achieve, despite anything which goes in press. This is what we achieved. We now have sufficient funds over which we will invest back in the company.
That's great.
So our shareholders now think that it's key to grow the company organically for another 6 to 12 months, and then we'll see what happens.
Very good, Martin. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Good Strategy, Bad Strategy.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Nope.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool?
It's probably Slack.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Between 4 and 5.
4, Martin, that's nothing.
I know.
All right. And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Divorced.
Divorced? Okay. No. Any kids?
2 kids.
2 kids. Okay. Yeah. You got a full plate then. And how old are you?
Sorry?
How old are you?
I'm 45.
45. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Say it again.
What's something you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Don't have a clue. I should have started earlier.
Guys, start earlier. He came out of the broadcasting rooms in these big media companies and said, you know what? If they're going to be spending $1 million on custom solutions for managing all these media files, I'm going to build it ourselves. That's what he did. He left the company. Now he's building a company doing about 175 grand per month, 35 customers paying about, anywhere between 5 and 10 grand per month. Founded in 2010. Now a team of about 14 people in Belgium, raised 1.1 million bucks to do it, cash flow positive a little over a year ago, 3xing year over year. They're not measuring churn. It's small to the point where it's not something they're focused on. However, they're looking at scaling over the next 6 to 12 months and then deciding at the end of that what they want to do next. Martin, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks a lot, Nathan.